Well, hi everyone, you're safely inside my brolly and welcome to a pretty appalling day in terms of the weather. It's a Friday, I'm in between school runs. I've just got a few hours here because I need to get back and walk the dog and sort out some stuff at home. But I'm at one of the allegedly more prolific waters on my club ticket. It has been cold and my goodness is it wet. It's been absolutely tipping it down all morning. The school run was fun. So I'm going to get set up now. And then I'll do a bit more filming and show you what I'm up to today. Okay guys, well I'm doing as much as I can whilst under the brolly, of course, because it's still tipping it down out there. So I've set up my rod pod, which for those who are interested is a Signet Quick Lock DL rod pod. I really love it. It was a gift for Christmas last year, and yeah, I've really enjoyed using it, and it's been a really good bit of kit. It's very handy for this kind of place where, as you can see I'm trying to point to here, there are stages, and it would be very difficult to get a bank stick in, I suppose. So the rod pod just makes life a little bit easier. I know it's not cool, but it works for me. Don't know why I just did another thumbs up then. I'll try to stop that. Alright, time to get some rods ready. Again, for those that are interested, I use a Sabre 3-rod lightweight holdall for all my sessions now actually. It's very rare that I take more than 3 rods with me anywhere. And it's just a little bit easier to transport than my great big 6-rod mega holdall, which is a TF gear one back home. So this 3-rod holdall just allows me to travel a little bit lighter. One of the first things I tend to do at any venue is set up a net first, because there's nothing worse than trying to play a fish and set up a net at the same time. It's all a bit hairy. So Might be wishful thinking, but the net is ready. Now for the rods. Unfortunately, I can't do this under the brolly, there's just not enough space, so I'm going to set up. Actually, the rain has eased off a little bit now, which is great. I'm going to set up 2 rods for this session. Both fishing my little snowman rigs on that coated braid that I may have shown you before in a video. I will show it again just before I cast out, just for those that are interested. I'm going to crush up some boilies with a crusher tool. I'm going to soak them in a bit of cloudy krill liquid, and I'm going to bait a patch out there with relatively clear ground if I can find some, and then just cast both my rigs on top of it. Let's see how I get on. I think there's a... Sorry guys, I think there's a little bit of rain on the lens of the camera on my phone there, so you've got a lovely sort of like red halo there, which is kind of cool. Apologies about the lighting, obviously with you being under the tent and me being just in the entrance to the tent, you can't really see me very well, but hey, who wants to see me? Just want to see what I'm doing. Behind me the rods are ready. It only took maybe 4 or 5 casts to tell me that just a couple of rod lengths out in front of me there's a clear area. In fact, the bottom seemed clear wherever I cast, to be honest. Clearish anyway, you know, a layer of silt, but nothing horrendous. So it'll be easy enough for me to present my usual snowman rigs over the top of there. What I'm going to do now is just crush up some bait, and as I say, just add some of that cloudy krill liquid for a bit of extra traction. And I'm going to introduce that first, and then just plot my rigs over the top. Trying to keep things simple today, have a relaxing time, and try to stay out of the rain as much as I can anyway. Unless I'm reeling in fish, of course, in which case I'm more than happy to get out of the tent. Right, here's what I'm doing with the bait. Just try and move this down so that you can see. Okay, so I've got this is one of these collapsible bait bucket type affairs. It's waterproof on the inside, so there's no problem with adding liquid to that. And what I'm doing is I'm just putting in a mixture of my trusty combination of krill and candy nut crush for this time of year, and grinding that up into small bits, which hopefully will keep the fish in my swim a bit longer than if I was just whacking out whole baits. A little bit of extra effort here. Hopefully it'll be worth it and it'll pay off. Okay, I'll probably do a few more of those, but just to show you what I'm doing, I've got some of this cloudy krill liquid stuff. Costs a fortune, but hey, what else am I going to spend my money on, right? Pour a little bit of that on top, and I think you end up with a very attractive cluster of food, hopefully near where your hook bait is. So I'm going to get some of this in the lake, and then I'll show you those rigs, and I'll get cast out, and we'll have a watch and see if we get any bleeps. Okay, just show you what I'm using today as a rig. I think I've shown you these before, but it's my little snowman rig, or my version of a snowman rig. Nothing too complicated about it. It's some well, I'll start down the swivel end. It's a swivel with a anti-tangle sleeve. There's some 15-pound coated braid, which is stripped back for the last half an inch to an inch, I suppose. I've got a size 8 Fang X barbless hooks, barbless rule here, and then you can see on the hair I've got a little gummy float stop butted up against the bottom of my bottom bait, which is a Candy Nut Crush boilie, and underneath there is a small 10mm white chocolate pop-up, and obviously there's just a hair stop at the end there. What I'm going to do is I'm going to hook on a little PVA mesh bag of 3 or 4 boilies to that. I'm going to dunk the whole lot in my manila glug, and then flick both rods out, just a little underarm cast for this one. Get the alarms on and see what happens. one rod out. I'm going to do the second rod and then sit back and have a bit of a relax. Okay, well, I'm fishing, which is great. It's 10 to 10 already, so it's taken a while to get down here and get set up. But I'm glad I bothered. The rain is starting to ease off, which is a good thing. And it's about time I got the kettle on, so I'm going to attach this to this, get a brew on, and watch the water for a while. I've seen one or two fish topping, but unfortunately they're a couple of swims to my left. And I know that a proper angler would pack up all their gear and move a couple of swims down, especially in winter time. But I cannot be bothered. It took a monumental effort to get down here in the rain and put this brolly up and get comfortable underneath it. So I'm going to stay put and I'm going to hope that the fish come to me. That might mean trying to introduce a bit more bait in the next hour or so, and hopefully that'll lure the fish into the area. I'll just stop talking there for a minute because there's a little robin just pecking away at the remnants of some boilies in my bait bucket over there. Always nice to see the robins. Right, let's get the kettle on. Lost it. Well, I was just popping a bit more bait in and I got a run on my right hand rod. I struck into the fish, or lifted into the fish, and it didn't feel big, to be honest. I mean, they're not big fish in here. They go up to about 10 pounds, which would be great. I don't think it was a 10 pounder. But unfortunately, just a few seconds into the fight, as maybe you saw on the little bit of video I managed to capture, the fish just fell off. No real explanation for it. It is barbless hooks here, and it does happen from time to time. And they're sort of like quite scatty fish, especially the smaller ones. They don't half shake their heads. And I think it's just managed to use the lead to fling that hook out, probably. So both rigs are now back where they were before. There is a bit of bait out there because I just put some out. And you never know, I might get another chance. Well, I put a bit more bait out. Unfortunately, it didn't cause a bite, but I have noticed just one or two swirls and little patches of bubbles since I put the bait out above my rigs. So hopefully that's a sign that the fish are in the area and are ready to feed. And speaking of feeding, my breakfast today is a toasted sandwich, so I'm going to tuck into that and hope the fish are tucking into those boilies soon to pick up the hook bait. It'd be really great if I could hold up a fish for the camera. I'd love to catch one, especially after I blanked on my last trip, so keeping everything crossed. Well, I just finished my sandwich and was mucking around on my phone making this video. My left hand rod absolutely roared off, and the result is this little cracking mirror carp. Probably only 4 pounds tops, but it put up a really good account for itself. Scrapped like a good one, even tried to do me in the snags on my left hand side. Steady pressure though, and she slipped over the net cord, and it's my first fish. Really glad I made the effort to get down here.
It's even stopped raining now, so it's really magic to be holding a fish. I'm going to put this one back and see if I can't catch his bigger brother. Fantastic. The sun's just coming out, a break in the rain, and just before I needed to pack away, I've been rewarded with this absolutely cracking mirror carp. A real scaly beauty, this one. The fish in excellent condition. Another reason why I love coming out fishing and making the effort at this time of year, because you can catch fish that look as fantastic as this one. It's not big, it's probably only about 5 pounds, a little bit bigger than the last one, but man am I pleased to have caught it. I've got to get packed away, so I'm going to slip this fish back and be on my way. If you watched, thanks so much for watching. Hopefully I'll be back out on the bank again soon, catching some more beauties like this, and if I'm lucky, some even bigger ones. Fabulous.